Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at USAGlobalTV.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, if you're watching live or if you're on the replay. My name is Caroline HEWARD. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. It is absolutely wonderful to be with you here. It is midnight here in the UK, and my guest, my wonderful guest who's coming on very, very soon, her name is MARISKA, and she is 12 hours ahead of me in New Zealand. So we truly are a very global channel. It is a wonderful time to be here today because our subject today is financial independence and empowerment for women, a woman's prerogative, part 2. I really look forward to discussing this. We had an excellent debate and conversation earlier on in our earlier show, which took place at 5 p.m. UK time, which was, I think that's 12 noon Eastern time. So let's bring on our guest without further ado, MARISKA.
Hello, Caroline, and hello to all our viewers and listeners. It is fun to be back, as always.
It's always wonderful that it's midnight here and it's 12 noon there. It's just truly global, isn't it?
It is, and that is one of the main reasons I love this platform so much. We get to meet people from literally all over the world. That would not have been possible, well, if we did not have this platform. So thank you, Dr. JACALYN, and everybody at E360 TV. That makes this possible.
Absolutely. And Dr. JACALYN is behind the scenes producing our TV, our channel tonight. She is producing the show, and we are very excited to have Dr. JACALYN because she is the star, really, behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. MARISKA, for our viewers that have never met you before, for our new viewers, including our regular viewers, please introduce yourself and tell people who you are, what you do, and your contact details and how you help people.
So my name is MARISKA, as Caroline mentioned a little bit earlier on, and I help leaders. Now, whether you are a brand new minted leader and just stepping into the leadership space from a specialization that you, I'm sure, loved before, or whether you are a seasoned leader and you have been in the leadership space for some time and moving up within your leadership journey, that is the space in which I help. So typically when we go through these transitions within our leadership space and life, there's a few things that we need to take a look at, and of course also make sure that the new way that we operate ourselves help those around us within our teams. So that is the main space in which I love working. And then also from time to time write a few books and do a few other collaborative projects, which also a lot of fun. So if you would like to learn a little bit more around listening, do check out The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella that I co-authored with Dr. JACALYN. And our latest book came out not too long ago, so you can also grab a brand new copy of that. And thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for putting my website on show there. I also have a workshop that I am working with Kira. That is one of my fellow coaches, and we are helping people starting out in business to think through a couple of things that would help them set them up for a great business journey, especially initially when we're starting out. There's quite a few things that we need to take into consideration. So thank you, Caroline. That is basically what I do and how I can help. Of course, you mentioned contact details. Well, that's the one thing that I forgot about. So contact details, if you would like to get in touch, you can do so via my email, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. And I know Caroline loves my little 2 there in my journey to discover.
I really do love your number 2. Because in England, that can mean something very different.
Yes.
But it's tongue in cheek because I love the fact that you do it as a number 2. Well, also I'd like to tell the viewers, especially our new people, a little bit about myself before we get right into the show and our subject matter tonight. So I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. My name is Caroline HEWARD, and I help people with all manner of stress. So whether it's physical ache and pain, neck pain, back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, belly pain, whatever pain, physical, emotional, or mental pain, so stress, anxiety, depression, or even relationship stuff, behavioral stuff in terms of anger management. So it's whatever really you're complaining about. Many people say that they don't sleep, and yet they're not stressed. So it's whatever you're complaining about that is actually what's causing your stress. So how do I help people? I literally bust their stress. I help them break through the trauma of what initially created the stress in the first place. So I work with root cause therapy. I've been working with clients since 2000, so that's 23 years, and held a license to practice in Harley Street in London. So that's how I help people, and I also offer a free consultation, whether it be on video, Zoom, Skype, Messenger, or audio, video, or Messenger, or indeed by telephone call. And you can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk, or call if you're international +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. So Mariska, our topic tonight, very juicy topic, financial independence and empowerment for women. And it's a woman's prerogative part 2. So I've already been on the panel earlier on, and we had quite a juicy conversation. So let's look at, what does financial independence mean to you, Mariska?
Ooh, wow. You just put it out in the very first question already. Oh, financial independence to me, I think there is an element of being able to literally take care of self, however that might look like. And it's interesting, as I came in, so you guys may or may not know, typically on a women's prerogative, we only find out what the topic of discussion will be when we log in and join the show. So it is a little bit raw and uncut. This has not been rehearsed. So what I was thinking while I was reading our topic for today was around my grandparents and my grandmother, and even further back, just women in general, how it is that we think about finances and think about caring for ourselves, and how that's evolved over time. And I feel extremely privileged for being able to be in this time and place right now, where we have all of these opportunities that we can literally take and make them our own and become financially independent. There's loads of people out there of the female persuasion that stand on their own 2 feet. And I think that would be part of my definition of being financially independent. So literally being able to care for ourselves. Caroline, seeing as I did not partake in the first piece, what would you say was yours?
Well, thank you, Mariska. That's an incredibly wonderful outline of what you believe financial independence is. And I really endorse what you're saying. I would agree with everything that you're saying. And I hadn't thought about it from an elderly perspective, although I am much older than I look. So I will share with you. For me, it is about being financially independent in terms of not needing someone to take care of me financially. And I have at some level achieved that in terms of my home. And what I shared earlier on in part 1 is that I had made a decision when I bought my property in London in 2008, literally just before the crash happened. So I paid top dollar for it, literally just before. It was about a week, 10 days before the crash in the UK. And I bought my property and knew that the mortgage was huge. And I made a decision that I would sell before I was 60 and buy something outright. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I made a decision to do that. And 1 month after my 59th birthday, I sold my London property, sadly, because I was giving up a hell of a lot of my life. I'd been in London for 24 years and moved to the north part of the country in Doncaster, where I have essentially become mortgage free. So I don't pay any rent or any mortgage, and I bought my property outright, and it's more than double the size. And so for me, that has given me a huge amount of financial independence and freedom, because I don't have to listen to Mr. Bank of England every week wondering if I'm going to be paying more mortgage. And when I decided to do that, much later on, many years later, I found out what mortgage meant. It meant mortgage, mort is death. So to be engaged in death. And when I learned that, I thought I really do have to buy a property outright and be mortgage free. So I'm very pleased that the mortgage didn't become my death penalty.
Oh, I did not know that mortgage had that literal translation. It's that's scary.
It is, because I didn't know.
Like, what?
And as a consequence of that, I thought, well, I don't want to have this till the day that I die.
No. Oh man, I find it so interesting the way that we develop our language and the meaning of words, and taking mortgage as one. And Caroline, I'm absolutely with you. Definitely not the type of engagement that I think anybody would like to have, especially thinking of it as until you die, with something that you don't love. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't love being engaged to a financial soul-sucking entity.
I'm totally in agreement with you, and that feels very freeing for me. So tell me, Mariska, financial independence, what does that look like for you personally?
Okay, so financial independence, I think you touched on it in the sense of being able to financially support myself. So I have evolved that a little bit into a not only being able to financially support myself, but also to financially support those I love. So being able to support my household, me, my husband, and then slowly but surely being able to build out. And of course, as life has a tendency to do, it teaches us all sorts of interesting lessons along the way. And sometimes they are financially depleting in nature, and sometimes they are financially growing in nature. So I have initially, when I started out, and I remember my brother always saying, because I saved everything. I saved money, I saved lollies, I literally saved everything. So if they wanted to have some lollies at some time, because they ate all of these, of course, I would exchange some of mine that I saved for some cold, hard cash. And thus save a little bit more money in the process that I can later do something with. So I've always had a very interesting relationship with money in general, finances in general. So I find it fascinating to see how we not only handle money in different times in our life, but also how our thinking of it evolves as we grow and as we change as a human being. And Caroline, you mentioned that you were very intentional when you bought your property back in London and going, well, this property is actually going to set me up. My intention is for this one to set me up before I'm 60, going to have my own place, and it's just going to be mine, no one else's. What other areas have you done this intentional setting up, if any?
Well, there's a few. This might be very revealing. I need to be careful what I reveal because I don't quite know who watches these shows and it might come back to bite me. Well, one of the things that's really important to me is my health, health mentally and physically. And I do feel that it's important to have some money behind me so that if I am unwell or can't work, then I am financially secure and not having to need to work. I love what I do and I do what I love, but I feel it's important in terms of financial independence to have the flexibility of being well, because that independence is, from the financial perspective, is not the only reason that I want to be free and independent. It is all about my mental well-being and my health, because you can have all the money in the world, and I certainly have known people, there are many stars that have, fame, fortune, and yet they're unwell and, have crippling diseases or things like Alzheimer's, dementia. And so all the money in the world hasn't helped their dis-ease and their illnesses. And so for me, it's really important to be well and to be taken care of. So even though I have disclosed that I am 59 and Dr. JACALYN has made a comment suggesting that I'm celebrating, sort of my youthful 135 years of being alive on this planet. What I will say is that to look after myself is really key, physically, emotionally, and mentally, as well as being financially wealthy in terms of being financially free and abundant. Tell me, Mariska, for you, are there any important tags for you that's really crucial in terms of your independence?
I think for me, and I really appreciate this piece that you brought in around the financial supporting. So it's really a support for your well-being and your health. So understanding what it is that it enables us to do. And that, to me, also very, very important, because having money for the sake of money, well, what's the point? We need to be doing something with it. And things that I really value personally is continual growth. So areas that helps me to be able to do that. And for a lot of people, it might have felt a little bit silly to, in a time where you financially don't necessarily know whether you are 100% or not, go through an immigration process, because it is quite an expensive process by itself. And because I really enjoy growth, one of the areas for me is really around being able to help myself step into those areas where we can stretch, where we can get to the edge of our boundary and push a little bit further. Try something else, try something different. And I did that throughout my career, initially going into the leadership space. So for me, it was quite a bit of a stretch in those areas. And then when we immigrated, did that again. And now having my own business, I am redoing all of that again. So continuously placing myself in those spaces and being able to do that. So having a financial setting where I am able to do that. So Caroline, as you mentioned, it being your health and well-being, I think my focus is just a little bit turned towards the learning and growth element and area of it. And what I'm finding interesting is that we both have a tendency to the area that we really love going into and that we want to invest in is also the area in which we typically work, because, well, you bust people's stress so that their health and mental well-being are up there, and I help them to grow and evolve.
It sure is. And when you were sharing that, beautiful Mariska, that's what I felt, that you've hit the nail on the head, that I spend an extraordinary amount of money currently and over the years in terms of my own training and my own growth, because that's very important to me. In my hierarchy of values, it's right up there, right at the top. And that is, if I do have spare cash, and I always consider, you know, with all the other expenses, if I have spare cash, I will generally find something to spend it on in terms of my own personal internal growth and my own personal training. And that's not because I don't think that I'm good enough. I just feel that I'm a proverbial student. And so that gives me an independence that keeps me young and keeps me youthful, because I am always a student, not a student just of life, but I'm constantly studying and finding new strings to my bows in terms of expanding my own inner being, as well as helping people that I help. And friends, family, they all obviously take advantage of that, because I'm constantly learning and growing. So I so endorse what you've shared there, Mariska, because I'm right on your page. I'm right with you. So let's look at a little bit more of our topic area tonight. And one of the areas that we haven't talked about is empowerment. So what empowers you, Mariska, in terms of financial independence? And let's look at the empowerment bit rather than the financial bit. And if there is any combination with that, what empowers you to have your independence?
I think for me, it is around understanding knowledge. So not knowledge only for the sake of knowledge, really being intentional with what it is that we know and how it is that we want to implement it or use it. So going back to your earlier intention when you bought the house in London and going, well, this is my intention for it and this is what I want from it. This is what I want it to do for me. Empowerment for me, that's part of empowerment. It is setting ourselves up or helping to set other people up in order for them to grow and evolve within that space, whether that is within a financial freedom and independence space, or whether that is within a different space where they need to learn and grow. It's really about that piece of it and the intentionality of it. And the empowerment, going back to my very first remark around my grandparents and my grandmother, the empowerment piece. So my one grandmother never learned how to drive. She could not drive a vehicle. They lived in almost the middle of nowhere. So if she wanted to go to town, either she needed to wait for my grandfather to come back home. He worked on and off on sites a little bit further away from home, or she needed to walk. She could also not ride a bike. She didn't know how to do that. So empowerment is really, for me, understanding how it is that we can grow ourselves beyond the things that we see as obstacles. And this might include something such as the glass ceiling that we discussed a couple of episodes ago, or this might look like learning more about finances and how it works and how we can utilize it and what sort of systems and processes are in place within our environment that can help set us up, and being intentional around what it is that we want to set up. So understanding that when we do this thing, what will it give us in the long term? What will it give us right now? What will it give us medium term? So that we can be very intentional around how it is that we utilize all the different resources that we have within our life. And finances is literally but one. I don't know about you, Caroline, but I have found that even this platform has loads of resources in the sense of being able to collaborate with people and share with people. And we just need to decide what to use and what the intention is to use it for. How about you, Caroline? What do you think about empowerment?
I love your answers, Mariska. You know, you sum it all up so beautifully. And we're very on a similar path in terms of our thoughts and our intentions and the way that we work. And I love it. I really do. I always love sharing the platform with you. For me, empowerment is about empowering myself to do things that I perhaps thought I couldn't do, and pushing myself, literally pushing myself and stretching myself to have a go at things that I didn't think were possible. And so even just on this platform alone, I never ever thought, and I'm going to be very honest here, I didn't think I would be able to ever get the technology right. And so I presented myself as I'm not good enough because I can't get the tech right. I'm not technical. And what was beautiful about this platform, and in particular, the wonderful Dr. JACALYN, who's behind the scenes producing this show tonight, is that she gave me the way, and she gave me resources to be able to do what I'm doing here right now. And I feel that that's empowerment, because that's surrounding myself with people that are like-minded, have different and complementary skills. And that means that that's stretching me to be more of who I can truly be, and more for others in terms of spreading my gifts and giving my gifts to more people and sharing my message. So if it wasn't for that relationship, this would never have happened and I wouldn't be here. And so I have, from my perspective, I feel that it's not just a personal empowerment, it's an empowerment of those that I decide to have around me and that come into my space, that truly are gifted in their way and help me become more of who I really truly want to be and to give. And Dr. JACALYN truly gave me an awful lot of guidance and encouragement that I could do this. And so therefore I now have a lovely home studio because of the direction and the instruction. So empowerment for me, if somebody does that for me, then it's what I can give to others. So empowering others to do things and to manage their health, their well-being and their lives is really important. So it becomes 360. It literally goes back 180 degrees each way. And I also feel that empowerment is about truly being everything you can possibly be without restriction, providing that I am comfortable in that moment to stretch in that way.
I love that.
One of the things I really wanted to do is be an author, and Dr. JACALYN has presented me with that opportunity of being an author as well, you know, in terms of books and being part of one of the chapters in her first book, The Awesome to Adversity to Awesome. And that was one of my goals. You know, the next goal is to actually write a book of my own. But, you know, this is what I feel empowerment is for me, is to keep stretching the stretchy bit of who we could possibly be. So Mariska, we are halfway, more than halfway through the show, and there is a few other topics I want to cover in this particular show. One of the things I wanted to look at is pension. What does that word mean to you? And what have you made any provisions for pension? Is there anything that comes up for you when you hear the word pension? And becoming retired. So we're going to look at pension and being retired. What does that relate? How do you relate to those two words?
I think over time, both of them have evolved. So if I think about pension and retirement in the context of my grandparents, looks a little bit different to pension and retirement in the context of my parents, and will look a little bit different to pension and retirement in my own context, as well as in all possibilities, children that follow. So for me personally, yes, definitely been doing that. And early on in my career, I have had a friend's dad tell me that if you start off small and you just continue with that, it will end up being a huge sum by the end. And if you're going to only start off halfway through, even if you make big contributions, it's not going to end up as the same sum. So from Albert Einstein to some other theories, that is literally the thing that happens. Now, whether it is a saving up for our retirement piece, or whether it is a doing something within our business piece, or learning something new, or even reading a book, we can literally apply the same rule everywhere. So doing a little bit over a long period of time will actually combine into a big amount of knowledge, funds, whatever it might be. Now, for me personally, when you talked about retirement, I'm thinking, well, I will most probably want to scale down at some point when I'm a lot older. Thinking 105 would be good, but you never know. Might feel like I need a little bit of a break earlier than that. Who knows what life throws at me? And in saying that, I also really enjoy this learning process, the whole constantly being able to put myself in those spaces where I can continuously learn. And I haven't had any clarity around how pension or going on pension will provide that for me. So I will, in all likelihood, not necessarily have a income generating something that I do, but I will continuously do. I think there would still be some value that I would like to bring into the world, whether that might be financially reciprocated, or whether I will do it for milk and cookies. You never know. So whether I will ever fully retire, I'm not sure. Caroline, I don't know. How much thought have you put into this, and where are you on the topic?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I'm very, very much along the same lines as you. I don't think that I will retire. I think that, when people talk about going on holiday, I do find it an interesting concept. When somebody says, I'm going on holiday, they're going away. They need a break from what they're doing. I don't generally need a break from what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing. And so I sort of find it really quite interesting, because if I'm in meditation, even when I'm doing consultations, I'm in a meditation, I'm doing breath work with people. So I'm actually doing what I love doing. And I do dance meditation. So I'm actually in a holiday, in terms of what I'm doing. And I believe that, to retire, in inverted commas, is a little different in today's current times than what it was when my mum was retiring. And because times have changed radically in terms of what's now available. Certainly in the UK, the retirement age is raised. I think it was 60 for women at one point, and now it's raised to 66. That's because we have a lot of people that are older. So we have a very aging population in the UK. So that aside, it's quite different here in terms of what, retiring means. And a lot of people that have already retired have come back to work. They've come back because they need to still earn some money. So that's been interesting in itself. From my perspective, I never really see myself as retiring. I think that I might do less, but I never really see myself as completely stopping work. In fact, one of my mentors, Louise Hay, she wrote a book. She wrote her first book when she was 60 years old, and then she created Hay House, which is an entire empire of authors and publisher, and she became a very wise and large publisher of self-help books. So from my perspective, I still have a little time before I'm 60 to produce that book. And so to literally retire doesn't equate in my world. I may do less, but I'm certainly not thinking about ever giving up right now. And my mum always said to me that she considered that I would be a student. She said that she thought that I'd still be a student up until I'm 60, and she said that to me when I was 30. And so now I'm almost 60. I honestly think that my mum had a very good judge of character and knew her daughter really well, because what she saw when I was 30, I truly am still studying. So from the perspective of pension, I didn't really put a huge amount away. I put some. I certainly didn't put as much as I could have done, but I've invested it very wisely with a person that has been looking after my pension, who's been trading the markets, and he's done very well with my pension pot. And I can really endorse the fact that when you find somebody that looks after your money that well, it's better that that you keep hold of them and you keep in touch with them, especially with our changed times. So there's different parts, different elements to being retiring is not something in my agenda, but actually pension is something that will give me more flexibility and a lot more financial freedom when I'm much older. So we're coming to the end of our show, Mariska. Can you believe it? We're actually, I know, we're really getting to the last, last small parts of our show. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers on USA Global TV and Radio and E360 TV?
Well, I think in general, thinking about your independence, whether it be financially or time freedom or whatever independence it is that you are creating, between me and Caroline, there has been some great nuggets shared, whether you want to work for milk and cookies. I think that's Santa Claus's job, but you never know. You might want a break. Or whether it is for finances, and however it looks like and how you define it in your world. I think the most important piece is being intentional and defining it for yourself. So understanding what it means to you and how it looks like to you and how you want to create that in your world, and being a little bit more intentional about the creation of it. Always a good start. And that is also a thing that I work with my leaders, being intentional about how we want to show up as leaders. That intentionality makes a big difference. So we also, Caroline, are we at the end piece where we go into more, or?
No, we're actually going to hand over to our sponsor, Holly, for a song. So Dr. JACALYN, bring on Holly for our wonderful song, and let's be empowered as women.
If I look into your heart, are you looking back at me? Am I everything you want, baby? If my heart was in your hands, would it be for you and me? Would you wanna keep it close, baby? Right on time, find the right guy, the one I dream to be. Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. If you told me to my face, you would lie right through your teeth. Would anybody know this is meant for me? I'm not the one to cry or throw my heart away. Can you show me all your loving? 'Cause I'm tired of these games. Right on time, find the right guy, the one on a dream TV. Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. We play the game, make it up, fake it up. It's what we do. We play the game, shake it up, wake it up. I'm thinking of you. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Reach for the stars. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. Baby, 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 baby.
Ella Holly, isn't she amazing? That is such a lovely, catchy song. Just absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
And it always look like they have so much fun. I'm trying to contain myself so I don't go nuts.
Well, me too. I'm sitting here, sort of jigging my feet. Well, we really are in our final few minutes of our show before we hand over to our sponsors. So please, Mariska, share with our viewers a little bit about you, especially for our new viewers on E360 TV, and how they can contact you.
Well, a little bit more about me. I work with leaders, whether you are a brand new leader moving from a specialization into leadership, or whether you are a seasoned leader that moves from your current position further into your leadership journey. That is where I can help. So transitioning from one to the other, there are always quite a few things that we need to take into consideration to do that. And of course, bringing our whole self in order for others to also bring theirs. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm also a co-author of the series The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. So currently we have a full 5 books in the series. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about listening and possibly also help your children to learn a little bit more about listening, these are definitely books to get. And as we're getting closer to Christmas, I know the big man that is paid in milk and cookies will definitely not blame you if you order the books and get them for the kids. There is also in book number 2 a fun little song, now that we have listened to the other fun little song, that will definitely get your feet tapping and you singing along, reminding you that it is good to listen and not let any listening lazies slip in. So do go and have a look at that as well. And of course, if you are a leader and you would like to get in contact with me, you can do so via my email, which is mariska@journey2discover.com, or alternatively, LinkedIn is also a place where I will definitely connect. So write me a little message and we can start our conversation. How about you, Caroline?
Wonderful, Mariska. Thank you. Well, my name's Caroline Heward. I've been your host tonight. and I'm known as the Harley Street stress expert, and I help people with all manner of stress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral, whether you've got a relationship issue, a bereavement issue, anger management, or a physical ache and pain, or whether you suffer with stress, anxiety, depression. Whatever it is that you're complaining about is how I can help you. And if you have any ache and pain, I help you with one symptom for free, and you can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me on +44 if you're international, 07523 120 189, or for a free consultation online or on video or audio if you're camera shy. Also, I offer programs to help you break through more of your symptoms, and I use root cause therapy. And I am excited to share with you that I'm coming up with new programs as the coming months will progress this year. And so watch this space, because there is more to share and a new website coming soon. Thank you very much to Mariska Dupree. It's always absolutely a pleasure to share platform with you. It really is. And I wish you an extremely and an extraordinary day as your day begins and as I go to bed. And thank you to our viewers, especially our viewers on E360 TV who have joined us live, and also USA Global TV and radio viewers. A warm welcome to our new viewers, and obviously our trusty viewers that have been with us all this time. It is wonderful to be here, and I hope that you've enjoyed the show. We look forward to seeing you again, same time next week. That's midnight for me in the UK. And what time is it for you there?
Well, it's midday for me here in New Zealand.
Midnight and midday. Woohoo. Truly global. It's been fun. Thank you so much, everybody. Same time, same place next week. Bye-bye for now, and over to our sponsors.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening lazy scripting, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening lazy is driving people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy is communication goes hazy. Listening lazy is, listening lazy is. Da 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 da. Listening lazy is driving people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy is communication goes hazy. Listening lazy is, listening lazy is. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that? It's listening lazy. Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening lazy is driving people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy is communication goes hazy. Listening lazy is, listening lazy is. Listening lazy is driving people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy is communication goes hazy. Listening lazy is, listening lazy is, listening lazy is.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.